There are so many options nowadays when it comes to PC. And of course, many of you would generally think the higher and more importantly expensive spec option would be the best fit for you. But is it really? Hey y'all, Dave here from the Expert Zone Southeast Asia team working with Microsoft. And today, I'm going to help you understand more about your PC and needs before you buy your next one. But before we get into that, click on that bell icon and subscribe. 99% of viewers of this channel are not currently subscribed, so do me a solid and click that button. It really helps me out making these videos. I'll be going through the major components of what makes a PC: RAM, storage, CPU, GPU, screen size, and price. Disclaimer: this video is made so that people can easily understand these features without getting too confused, so I won't be getting too in-depth into them. Alright, let's get the first part out of the way: RAM. The RAM, also known as random access memory, is one of the biggest features being thrown around by salespeople all the time, maybe even your IT department. You might have heard these statements before. Is your laptop old and slowing down? Increase your RAM. Buying a new laptop? Increasing the RAM would make it faster. But does it really? Random access memory, like the name implies, is a memory unit. What it essentially does is quickly access the memory of programs that you want to run. Okay, let me make this easier. When you run an app or program, what is being read by your processor is actually the information from your RAM. In other words, it's the working memory while your storage is your resting memory. So, what does that mean? If you have a bigger RAM, you can then run bigger or more applications at the same time. So the main question is now, how much RAM do you actually need? If you are a gamer and want something that doesn't break the bank, then 16GB of RAM does the job. Sometimes even 8GB if you don't really run anything else in the background. But if you're someone who uses your laptop just for social media and browsing the net, then 4GB will be fine. That being only if you don't open too many browser tabs. Yeah, Internet tab uses RAM too. Everything does. Next up, we have storage. There are two kinds of storage that you normally hear about: the cheaper hard disk drive, or HDD for short, and the more expensive but way faster solid state drive, SSD for short. Most devices come with a SSD nowadays, but if you do find yourself looking at a device that's much cheaper, you would generally find a HDD in it. SSDs generally help your device boot up faster and have an increased reading and writing speed compared to HDDs. This is generally due to the fact that HDDs have a small spinning disk inside of them that has to be read from, while SSDs don't. It just reads and writes with no moving parts as a limiting factor. SSDs also tend to last longer due to the fact that it doesn't have moving parts to wear and tear from. With the type of storage out of the way, let's get into storage space. When it comes to storage, it really depends on you. How much of storage do you need? Do you have an external storage? Do you have cloud storage? And what are you using your PC for? You might say you currently have a device that's maxing out its 256GB of storage and you need something more on the next one. But take a look closer at your storage space. Most of the time, the only thing that we use on our devices are apps and programs, and they don't really take that much storage space. What really starts filling up your storage are files like photos, videos, music, and documents that you don't delete and keep. For me, one of the simplest solutions I have is Microsoft 365. Everyone needs apps like PowerPoint, Excel, and Word somewhere in their life, right? So why not use one that comes with a free 1TB of cloud storage as well? Save important apps, games, and documents that you generally use all the time on your device storage and the rest onto your cloud storage. This way, you have an additional storage that follows you everywhere you go as long as you have internet. Option number 2, you could also save those files that you may need someday on an external storage device. Now you can save money on the next PC you get with a storage that supports the application that you actually use. Next, we have the Central Processing Unit, or CPU for short. This is the brain of the device. There are two major brands out there, Intel and AMD, and you probably have heard these terms before: Intel Core i5 or i7 and AMD Ryzen 5 or 7. These are some of the most common CPUs you will find on an average PC. You were probably told the higher the number, the faster your PC would run, but that's not exactly true. What a CPU does is read the information from your RAM and show you whatever you are seeing on your screen. So the higher the CPU number, the more efficient your CPU can read and process those information. For example, If you're on a current Gen i5 or Ryzen 5 device and you open a Word document or you go onto YouTube, using a current Gen i7 or Ryzen 7 device to do the same thing would not significantly increase the speed of how you open or use those apps. Most average users out there are on either i5 or Ryzen 5, and it does almost everything efficiently. You would only need a more powerful processor when you run apps and programs that would actually benefit from them. Maybe for like high-end gaming, video editing, 3D applications, and programs that would need faster and more efficient reading of those information to run. So most of the time, i5 or Ryzen 5 does the job for a multitude of programs and games. Bigger doesn't always mean better, for this case, higher numbers. So CPUs essentially comes down to what you are actually going to use your device for. Then we have graphics processing unit, or GPU for short. As the name suggests, it's a processing unit for graphics. You need it if you want to see anything displayed on your screen. Most PCs you buy today have an integrated GPU or iGPU that comes with it. But most of the time, when you hear someone say graphics card, they generally mean a discrete GPU or DGPU. So the question now is, do you actually need a graphics card? And what's the difference between iGPU and DGPU? Like I mentioned, most devices come with a iGPU, and this is enough for you to play some of the games and get your day-to-day feel of social media. But if you work with video or photo editing applications, draw 3D models and render them, or want the highest frame rate for high-end gaming, or basically anything that is graphic intensive, then you need a discrete GPU. Of course, I'm oversimplifying here. There are a lot of different kinds of discrete GPU that is used for a varying range of graphical processing. But basically, if you don't really use graphically demanding application, then most likely you don't need a discrete GPU. Then comes the topic of screen size. You would think it's straightforward, right? Well, not really. I mean, if all devices come with the same aspect ratio, then sure. But they don't. Majority of OEM brands out there have devices that comes with aspect ratios of 16:9. That's perfect for entertainment consumption like videos with its wider but shorter screen. But then there are some brands out there like Surface that uses a 4:3 aspect ratio to give you more vertical real estate, essentially showing you more with lesser scrolling. In short, your screen is taller. This is perfect for when you're on the web looking for information, reading a journal or article, doing some writing, or using any of the Microsoft Office apps. In short, a 13.5-inch laptop with a 4:3 aspect ratio will generally look bigger than a 16:9 device of the same inches. So remember, the next time you hear inches, always make sure you take a look at the device before deciding it's too small or too big for you. Finally, we have price, and honestly, this really depends on you. Most people generally tend to think that the more expensive laptops are better for you. Sure, it generally does mean that it has better specs and the latest technology, but in reality, it boils down to the features that you actually use. Buying a race car when compared to a family car makes no difference when you're on a busy road. Same goes for PC. Buying a higher spec device won't benefit you if you don't use it for its intended purpose, except showing off. I hope now you have all the information needed when it comes to purchasing your next PC. If this video helped you at all, hit that like button. Also, let me know in the comments if you want me to go in depth on any of these features I've mentioned, or if there's anything else you want me to talk about. And remember, if you want to see more Microsoft related content or videos like this, make sure to click on subscribe and that notification bell so you'll be notified on the next video. Well, that's all for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.